although former First Buddy Elon Musk was notably absent. In a scene that resembled the Trump cabinet meeting, the tech execs took turns complimenting the president as their industries push hard to get what they want, a hands-off approach to AI.
Thanks for hosting us. I mean, this is quite a group to get together. And, I think, all of the companies here are making huge investments in the country.
Thank you for incredible leadership, including getting this group together.
I want to thank you for including me this evening. It's incredible to be among everyone here, particularly you and the First Lady.
Thank you for being such a pro-business, pro-innovation president. It's a very refreshing change. We're very excited to see what you're doing to make all of our companies and our entire country so successful.
Let's bring in Teddy Schleifer, a New York Times reporter and MSNBC contributor, and Jim Messina, who served as White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations under President Obama and managed the Obama 2012 re-election campaign. Teddy, the president's response to all that praise seemed to be, I want to help you out. In fact, he said his administration would be making it very easy for you regarding electric capacity and permits. So is the strategy working? Tell me what you saw in that public part of the dinner last night.
Yeah, I mean, we only know what happened in the public part. But clearly, I mean, this was a kumbaya moment, and you could see the sense of relief from tech executives who say that, they felt targeted during the Biden administration. And, they're putting on a show of gratitude for Trump. But I also believe that it is genuine. I mean, Trump has, accelerated American investment and infrastructure investments in AI in a way that the tech executives could not have written better themselves. So I believe it was a genuine appreciation and a genuine kumbaya. But the performative element is kind of funny. It's similarly to a cabinet meeting, as you pointed out. I mean, I'm sure Pete Hegseth enjoys being Secretary of Defense, or other cabinet secretaries enjoy their jobs, but we don't regularly see, at least in front of the cameras, this like performative, embrace of the president. Certainly not from the private sector.
Jim, you were a White House Deputy Chief of Staff. Talk about orchestrating events like this, down to who gets to sit next to the big guy, which in this case was Mark Zuckerberg. What did you see as you observed this?
Well, it doesn't matter what party you are, Democrat, Republican, or other, everyone's going to do CEO events like this, especially with the American tech sector, which is so dominant around the world. Teddy had it exactly right. These investments are real. They are ongoing. You can argue whether or not they were already being invested before he came into office, but it doesn't really matter. All these guys together are working on this. And when you put together dinners like this, Chris, you really want to reward the people most loyal to you with seating. The seating chart fights in the White House are legendary, and the fact that Zuckerberg got right next to him is really interesting. I was also interested by who wasn't there, which is the CEO of TikTok. Meta has campaigned hard to get TikTok banned. That would be one of the sillier decisions in American political history. If they do that, TikTok's become the most important political platform out there. He wasn't invited last night, and his chief rival is sitting right next to the president. So, the deadline to decide what they're going to do with TikTok is coming up this month. And so it's going to be really interesting to see, to Teddy's point, what they said when the cameras weren't rolling.
All right, Teddy. On the other side of the president of the United States, a rare appearance at an event like this by First Lady Melania Trump. And she had actually hosted an earlier meeting with some of the tech execs, which she opened by saying, quote, "The robots are here. Our future is no longer science fiction." She talked about the concerns she has about AI. How much does the president listen to her? And could she be, a more cautionary voice in this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the industry folks are generally, pedal down here. And if Melania is a break, that's fascinating. She doesn't really do many public events at all. As my colleague Sean McCreesh, who wrote that story, has pointed out, the fact that she is out there, doing an event like this, I thought was fascinating, just for a sense of how the First Lady wants to spend her time and build her own profile. She didn't speak. I don't believe she spoke during the public session of the dinner last night. You wonder what she thinks about, concerns around AI safety and whether or not these tech companies are moving too quickly. But ultimately, Donald Trump is the president, and he's got people on both sides of him. He's got Melania Trump on I think it's left there, and Mark Zuckerberg on his right, which he's got to make his choice.
Yeah. Well, Jim, last night's dinner was actually relocated because of rain. It was scheduled to be the first event at the newly paved Rose Garden. And in a statement to The Hill, a White House spokesman wrote this: "The Rose Garden Club at the White House is the hottest place to be in Washington, or perhaps the world." The iconic Rose Garden as an exclusive club. What do you make of that?
Chris, why you got to poke the bear? Oh my gosh, this upsets me so much. This is the craziest thing. Like, we are literally turning the White House, the most sacred place, into a Vegas nightclub. I remember when we were coming in the Obama years, George Bush said to us the day before he left office, "Look, you're part of a 225-year tradition. You're not a Democrat. You're not a Republican. You're an American trying to make things better." And this is not what that is. This is Donald Trump throwing himself parties where everyone lavishes him and says how great he is. And then they ruin the White House. They're about to expand it to include a new, bigger event center so he can have bigger techno parties, I guess. What are we going to see next, Chris? A foam party at the White House? I mean, this stuff is just, out of control and driving us traditional White House people bipartisanly a little crazy.